Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Straw Hat Izzy, aka the Izzy Cruise if you follow me on Twitch, and it's been a minute since I put up a video, so I figured I'd put one up, and it is on a deck I played recently that I was doing pretty well with in testing, and it was doing okay in tournaments, but I think I could have played better and it would have done a lot better. But it's definitely a deck that's going to improve in set 9, and you'll maybe see it a little bit more in EX1, EX2. But I think for now it's like just a really fun deck to play, and there's a couple of tech options that I really like in this deck. I figured I'd show that to you guys. If you guys like the video, comment because I love reading all your comments and discussing theory and deck talking. Like the video and consider subscribing because occasionally I put up videos for the Digimon card game. All right, the deck I'm going to be showing you guys today is X Antibody. And there's like a few spicy things that my teammate Frosty came up with, and I figured I'd try them and test them, and they're really fun to play. So I'll go right into the deck profile, guys. I'm playing 4 copies of Doraemon because this is the best X Antibody egg. It's not close. And I'm playing 1 copy of the other X Antibody egg, just sometimes for that plus 1000 threshold, for the mirror, and sometimes black or gray, like you need it. But on top of that, it's so that you can continuously hatch, because being able to raise is very important in this deck. So I think the 1 extra egg matters. You can play Pokemon if you'd like, but I don't really expect my big stacks to die in traditional ways. So I went with this egg. That's it for the eggs, you guys. And then let's move on to the rookies. We are playing 4 copies of Doraemon, best rookie in the deck, in my opinion. When you attach it, you gain a memory, and when it's already under that, you gain a memory. So really good egg. Also Searcher. 4 copies of Ryudomon because Search is the best card in your deck, which is Yuji, but like Decoy is pretty bad. But there are a couple cool combos you can do with Decoy to prevent your other cards from being deleted, so it's fine. But the on play is really what you want. And then the last 3 rookies I play are 3 copies of Chumon. The reason for that is because everyone is on memory setters, memory boost cards. And this being able to stop memory boost cards at pivotal points is very important, as well as being able to stop cards like Hammer Spark, Restand Demon, uh, Reinforce, the things that can additionally gain you memory. So I think this is really good. That's it for rookies. I only play 11. Usually you're only making like 2, maybe 3 stacks in a game. If you're making 3, you're going into the late game. And your Doraemons are usually getting put under your guys, so you don't need a lot of rookies for that, traditionally. From there, I am playing 4 copies of Ginryumon. This card gives inheritable blocker, so it's really strong. I really like it, and it makes like your big stack huge and very hard to get through. 4 copies of Dorugamon. Sorry. Uh, Very good because it gives you plus 1000 all turns while you're in X Antibody, and I think that's super strong, especially in combinations with other cards. And then this is a blocker almost always, because if you have the egg, like it's a blocker. If it's hard casting, you have another X Antibody, it's a blocker, so it's fairly strong. And then 2 copies of Grumblemon. I know most lists nowadays play 3, but I felt like 2 is enough for me, so we just went with the 2 route. Still very good to be able to, do all your checks and then hybrid for game. Alright, from there we're moving on to our ultimates. We have 4 copies of Dorogreymon because this card allows you to push for OTKs. Very strong. Make sure you can't get depleted, so like Rapidmon can't really beat over you majority of the times, which is very powerful, as well as you can't be destroyed. So against decks like Musket, you can't be hit by like Fly Bullet, things like that. And then our other ultimate is 4 copies of Histariumon. This card's really good because it gives your Digimon reboot on your opponent's turn. And then when attacking, if you attach a thing under this card's source, you can evolve for 1 less than what the Mega would be. So it's very powerful in that regard. In combinations with cards like Doraemon being put under it, it makes your like 3-cost evols a 1-cost evol, and it makes your 4-cost evol a 2-cost evol. So very strong. That's it for all the ultimates, only 8 of them. From there, our mega lineup is where our deck gets really spicy. I'm playing 4 copies of Oriyumon because this card is probably the best one in the deck. It's the best mega for sure. Being able to not be destroyed, and then every time you attach something, give it plus 2000, super powerful. And the next set, you're going to notice that it's going to be played under Alphamon Oriyukin mode a lot. and you're not going to see a lot of like the old Alphamon. You're going to see a lot of this card. So very powerful. I think it's very important to play this card 4. I think it's just your best one, and removal from this card is very important. Then I'm playing 2 copies of Doragoromon. This card's really good against decks like the Imperial deck because it can just destroy like Stingmons and XVmons. You can get to points where maybe you can even hit a Dino Bee or like one of their blockers, but it's really powerful in that regard. And sometimes it's really good against Mastamon, depending on what they have on the board and depending on how many UGs you have. So really strong card, and it gets huge. Being able to do all that damage while being like big to get out of range of like Wyverns and like the like Susanoo and things like that, where or you can or Oriyumon usually can't, is very powerful. And then the last 2 megas I'm playing, shout out to Frosty again for this idea, is 2 copies of Black War Greymon. So this doesn't get any of the inheritables, but we have a reason for playing this Black War Greymon. In the mirror, it's very good because it gets to pop your opponent's UGs, as well as like popping Cody's against like Rapidmon, popping like Memory Setters, or popping Davis and Ken against Imperial, which are all like super powerful Tamer cards, right? It will only ever pop Tamers in this deck because you're only ever evolving over black cards, but it's fine. The real reason we're playing this is because we're playing 1 copy of Omnimon X Antibody. This card is ridiculous in this deck because Yuji can continuously put sources under this, as well as it gets all the inheritable effects of all the X Antibody cards because it is an X Antibody. This card is so powerful. Being able to swing, kill something, have reboot blocker, and then like a million sources so your opponent can never attack is so strong. But because it only evolves over an Omnimon or over red or blue, we had to find a red, and you know what better red that synergizes with this deck than Black War Greymon. So being able to do this, like pop their Tamers and then go into an antibody, is so detrimental against so many decks. It's very hard to deal with. Like they have to have like Megadeth or like something else, right? But we play cards that make it so that your antibody can stick for that 1 or 2 pivotal turns that you need it to. So very powerful, very cool tech by him, and it was very good in the games I played it. I remember playing a mirror. I had 0 security. My opponent had 5, and I just set this up, and they just couldn't beat it, and I won the game because they couldn't beat this card. From there, we are playing 3 copies of Black Memory Boost for consistency. We only play 1 non-black Digimon, so everything else is searchable, and that's Antibody. And fun fact, this is searchable by both Ryutamon and Koda and Dorumon, so being able to search this card is super strong. Which means like having the deterrent of like bottom decking it is whatever because you get to search it. The memory boost cards are really good because they help you push your like big plays, and because they do that, like you just get to do a lot more. It also helps you search for Grumble for games, so very strong. Then we're playing 3 Breath of the Gods. It's very cool when you get to go like Black or Gray Pop Tamers, play Breath of the Gods, and then Digivolve into X Antibody. So now they can't bounce or destroy this card, and they can't deplete it. Or they can destroy it, but usually, you know, Dora Gray or something. They can't bounce or deplete it, which is like very powerful. And it already has Reboot if it didn't already have Reboot. So super strong combination. This card's really good. It's also very helpful when you're not playing cards like Alphamon because insecurity just stops your opponent's turn from like killing you, which can give you that 1 or 2 turns you really need. So yeah, I really like Breath of the Gods at 3. And then from there, we're playing 4 copies of Yuji. Yuji is like super strong, very powerful card, and it's like the whole combo setter for you. And then from there, we're playing 2 copies of Coda. I don't know where the other one is, so I'll just put it over here for right now. Once you resolve 1, like you don't really need to resolve the second, but it is helpful to getting that early game in. So yeah, that's the deck, you guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know what else you've been trying your X Antibody decks. I really like this deck. I really like the inclusion of X Antibody Omnimon in it, and I think it's worth trying. So, you know, go ahead, give that a try, and let me know what you guys think. Beside that, have a great rest of your day.